Yo, it's your boy Rick, man. It's LIB Media, man. And look, man, I'm here because as y'all boys can tell, I'm a bit excited, everybody. I'm a bit excited because this video is one of the videos I love to do on LIB Media because this is where people get to really talk their talk. And this is where we get to have a real conversation in sports. And this is why I love these types of conversations, man. So for y'all that already seen the Asante Samuel versus Deion Sanders thing, right? And so, at face value, right? Like, most people gonna say to themselves, okay, bro, like Asante, you just you've been a pretty good player, and then Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders. Hey, I'm with you there, right? But then I guess so Asante was arguing back and forth with Shannon Sharpe, and then he piqued my interest because he said, here's your yearly reminder. And I'm like, yearly reminder of what? And so I'm gonna share this screen so we can really get into this. Um so essentially, so essentially what happened is Deion and Asante Samuels got into it for whatever reason. It was about they got into it about DB technique and which technique is better, right? And at face value, it's like, okay, that's a great conversation, right? Like we could really talk about that, right? We talked about football, we talked about technique, we get into the nitty gritty, and that conversation led to a separate conversation, and then then there was words, and then Shannon had to jump in, and then Shannon was like, yeah, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's as good as Deion. Deion is the best cornerback ever. Boom. So when we got there, I said to myself, okay, cool. He is the best ever, but this thing happens in basketball, happens in football, it happens in sports where it's hard when you come up in a new generation. The sport is played differently. The rules are different, all of that. And when you have all of that working, right, in a certain kind of way, then you have to rely on stats, but you also have to add context to them, right? And because the person who was the best person to do something at a point in time doesn't just get to keep being the best person ever. Like I'm gonna say this till the end of time. That 2009 season by Darrelle Revis was the best cornerback season ever of all time. That includes Deion and Asante and everybody else. Darrelle Revis had a 3-year stretch that would have, if that 3-year stretch was extended, would have made him the best corner of all time. He just shut everybody down that way, and he shut down a ton of greats. And so in Deion's case, right, I saw Asante said something like, went a little back and forth for something about how, like, Deion was super fast for the era he played in, which I think is true too. Like Deion was super fast then. But I kind of want to look at these stats for a quick second, and kind of just get into them. So this right here says Deion Sanders played 188 games. Asante Samuel only played 153. It's a 2 interception difference, even though there's a huge game difference, right? So that's what, 35. It's a 35 game difference, but it's only a 2 interception difference. In the playoffs, right, it's a 2 interception difference in the favor of Asante, and then you have the 2 Super Bowls. Now, in fairness, when you're playing corner, right, and if you're a lockdown corner, the ball shouldn't come to your side because you're there, right? That's the kind of point a lockdown corner is supposed to play. Asante Samuel played on a great Patriots defense. Now, I can't say that without saying, like, the Dallas team and the 49ers team that Deion won the Super Bowl with, those teams were stacked all across the board. That was before the salary cap was introduced, so them teams could stack the board and nobody really could beat them. That's not to take nothing away from the individual greatness of these two people, but I just thought it was very interesting because the stats eventually don't lie. And so we have to get in the habit of trying to tell the whole story, because I do think certain people like Deion are etched in history in a way because he was like the first person to be that thing. And because he was that thing, right, he kind of gets etched in history a little different than other people. And yes, Deion was that good, and I don't necessarily think Asante Samuel was, but I am one of the people who will give Asante Samuel credit for just saying, "Hey, man, the stats are out here." And at a certain point in time, the only way you can really judge players is by the stats and their contemporaries. Now, when you look at that contemporaries, Deion, 8-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, right? Asante only a 4-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. Now, so that means like the way that the general populace and the people felt about those individual players looks totally different, right? And so you have to take that into account as well, right? But I just think this is a great starting point for a conversation to keep having as time goes on, because there is a level of when can you let go of the era, and when does a person actually show up and surpass a person from another era, right? You know, Deion also won a DPOY, right? And that's very hard to do as a cornerback, right? So you gotta also like think about that. So it's just a lot of things to think about. But I just thought this was super enticing for somebody like me, because I love when people be like, "Hey man, but look at my stats though. Like I'm not recognized in a certain light." But also that also plays on when you're on a team full of stacked people, and Asante Samuels was on a team. He was on a stacked team, like you know, that New England team that he was on, man, like I mean that New England team had like a bunch of Hall of Famers, and then he was replacing Hall of Famers because they had people like Ty Law and stuff before him too. And so that team, you know, Ronnie Harrison and Lloyd Malloy and all these players. So Asante Samuel just kind of just fell into a role, and then you got Tom there, and it's like, you know, you got the Patriot Way and Belichick, and there's so much bigger names than how much credit he was going to get. But I will say, this is super interesting because I'm gonna do a lot of these going forward, because as players come out and say certain things, I think you gotta respect when a player says, "Hey, these are the stats," right? And you can't deny the stats. What you can do is you can add context, right? You can always add context, but you can't deny the stats. So I just thought this was a cool video, man. As of right now, I don't think anybody has surpassed Deion. I think Revis was the closest one to doing it. You know, you got some people like Patrick Surtain and stuff who's coming up who might can, but I don't know. It was just an interesting topic for me personally. So, man, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Y'all let me know if Deion is just still super far ahead of all these people. If y'all think it's a pointless conversation, how do y'all judge players? Is it strictly off just the eye test? Do you take into account, like, you know, if you're a corner, how fast you are and you guarding fast the people? If you know you can make up the speed and like y'all just let me know how y'all judge these generational debates, because to me it's always fun and interesting, but to some I know people feel like it's disrespectful. So y'all hit us up in the comments, man. It's your boy Rick, man. It's LIB Media, man. I'm out of here. Peace.